group, and just wanted to let you all know. Well, first, Happy New Year, and wanted to fill you into what we've been working on, and essentially, as the title said, why I kind of gave up a $200,000 contract to start my own marketing agency, and so. It all started last year. I actually do a little bit consulting, IT consulting on the side. I actually come from an IT background, and well, actually in 2020 with COVID, I started full time in therapy, and then I actually, was blessed with getting a subcontract for a IT job, and so I decided to do that and the therapy and run the therapy business on. To be honest with you, I was therapy was I was a little bit burnt out because of the COVID. I was doing 8, 10 sessions a day. Um, Poor self care, just doing everything wrong. I mean, it was bad, and I reached out to one of my former project managers at this company, great guy. The company. Shout out to Kill the Group. They probably gonna kill me for mentioning them, but great guy. The owners. But yeah, so he gave me this contract, the subcontract. It was good. It was over 200K. And so I was doing it, and it was great. It was great. And then last year we kind of like slowed things down. It was a federal contract, so they kind of like slowed things down, and we just had a conversation. It was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna like shut down on my hours and just start focusing back on Latte Wellness Group, because at that time, Latte Wellness Group, we had a couple of folks, maybe like it was like 10 of us. And from 2020 to like now in 2023, we have over 50 people. So we've just been growing it over time. And so now I kind of just want to focus back on my baby. But I'm not actually, my goal is to actually not go into counseling, right? Because what a lot of people don't realize is that counselors or therapists, you get burnt out really, really quickly. If you're seeing a therapist and they're not as crisp or as sharp as they used to be when you first started seeing them, because they're getting burnt out. But the problem, what they don't tell you about in counseling, is that you have to do it. If you're a full-time counselor, like you have to see clients to put food on the table. And in my case, I had a wife and 3 kids. I mean, they were it's you got to eat. You got to pay bills, but it's unsustainable. Like you can't. For me, I couldn't do 88 hours a day. Like even they say, what, full time in counseling, it's about 23 to 25 clients. You might, if you really, really feel special, you might do 30, but it's really, really hard to keep it up. But anyway, the contract. So late in 2022, he sat me down. He's like, look, man, um, we probably gonna have to reduce your hours because of the work. And what John didn't realize was I was happy because I was thinking about leaving or getting rid of that contract anyway. I just felt bad because he gave me such a great opportunity, and it was a lot of money on the table. $200,000 a year. It's a lot of money. Like people don't realize that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money to be given up. And also, what a lot of people don't know is I actually was losing a little bit of money on the counseling side of it because it was taking a year and a half to build up our clinic. And I was working with some folks that were doing my billing. Some of them were doing a lot of like shady stuff, like they weren't paying us and things of that nature. And it was really, really bad. And that contract, by God's grace, it helped sustain the counseling. And so it came through at a very, very vital time. And but it was time for it to, it was time for me to wind down. And he actually allowed me to have another full-time guy. So, it's his generosity was like tremendous. You typically don't see that in counseling. In counseling, it's a it's a cutthroat business. It's a cutthroat business. You don't really see a lot of people looking out for you. You do, but you don't. Right? If you're in the management crowd, or if you're in the inner circle in consulting, yeah, then they're gonna look out for you because you're in the inner circle. But if you're like on the outskirts, or if you're in the things, they don't look out for you like John did. So I felt real bad because I didn't want to like kind of abandon the guy because he looked out for me. And so when we had that conversation, I was happy because that gave me the go ahead to say, all right, look, we're on the same page here. He's not going to feel bad for me leaving him because I kind of just wanted to focus on some other things, focus back on Latte Wellness Group, and especially focus on this opportunity that I was seeing in terms of the gap, right? So what I noticed in counseling is that it's a supply and demand issue in counseling. Essentially, there's more, right, as I see it. This is just from my lens. As I see it, there's more people looking for therapy than there are therapists, especially in the insurance-based industries. Me, I love insurance. I live and breathe insurance. Insurance-based clients are my bread and butter. A lot of therapists hate insurance. I love it. It comes with a lot of headache, but you just got to know how to manage it. And so for me, having that consulting background and that process background to say, okay, hey, look, what are the bottlenecks here? Why people hate it? People hate it because you gotta, when you use insurance, they have to verify your insurance. Sometimes you can be on the phone for 2 to 3 hours, and then B, when you submit the claim and they denied it, then you got to go back, you got to call them. That's another 2 or 3 hours for a denied claim. When you scale up, those 2 or 3 hours can, it becomes a headache. But I realized you actually have to separate the administrative piece of therapy from the actual counseling piece of therapy. And that's what a lot of counselors don't get. Me, I came from a business background. Anybody in the corporate world, anybody in the background, in the things, you realize there's a certain business acumen to it, right? You're never just going there and just doing your job, right? Counselors, they just want to go in there. Hey, I went to grad school. I just want to go in there, do grad school, get it done, and do counseling. But what you don't realize is you got to actually diversify your skills because eventually you are going to face burnout. And so for me, the goal of um the goal of this marketing agency that I'm piloting, or that I'm starting up, is to figure out if we can somehow be the market maker. Essentially here, link up the people that are looking for therapists to therapists that actually need clients. Because in therapy, sometimes, especially for new therapists or just people that not necessarily new therapists, but therapists that want to go out on their own, the biggest fear is, how do I get clients? How do I get enough clients to sustain myself, to pay my bills, to pay my mortgage, to pay my rent, to put food on the table, to take care of my kids and family, to enjoy the life that the agency was giving me. And so that is our goal. And there's a lot of people doing it. There's a lot of companies, Growth Therapy, ZocDoc. There's a lot of folks that are doing it right now, and I'm surprised they're not killing it even more. From my point of view, in the next 5 to 10 years, that shift to really, really um, adding more resources, or making the health field more advanced, and just creating more efficiencies within the health. Mental health, definitely. I think in the mental health is lagged a little bit, but in all other areas, everyone's definitely, health, especially, with just regular healthcare. But mental health seemed to be a little bit lagging in that. And so, hey, it's gonna be really, really interesting. It's gonna be really, really fun. On top of now, I'm going to be at a loss of that $200,000. But I also chose a time where my marketing director, or my marketing guru, she's actually going to be going out on maternity leave for a month, maybe even more. And so I'm stepping into this new position here, and so we've been so essentially right now what we've been doing is why it felt like such a such a crazy time is I'm trying to squeeze, I'm trying to get the last bit out of this lady before she goes on, maternity leave, and she's probably like, man, this guy just leave me alone. And my wife's been there, especially at the end. I mean, when you're at that end, when you're a week or two, come on, you don't feel like being bothered with anything. But she's been wonderful. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to say, okay, hey, look, how do we backfill her role? How do we backfill her role? Who's going to who's going to step up to the plate, backfill her role? Because she does a lot of the email marketing, landing pages, a lot of crazy ideas that I have. I tell her, and she just does it. All right, it's a very, very hard thing to do. And so we've been trying to fill that one, but we've also been trying to come up with our strategy. And so now the second part of here is now what is going to be our strategy? What is going to be our plan to market, right? So basically, the service that we're going to be doing, the service that we're going to be providing are leads to mental health professionals, whether you are a counselor, a therapist, psychologist, nurse practitioner, you got a clinic, whatever, any type of mental health field you're in. How can we help you get your leads? And we have to be very, very careful to say leads, not clients. It's unethical to get paid for client referrals, but we can get paid for client leads because everyone's doing it. And what is the biggest difference between a lead and referral? Well, a lead is a potential to be a client. They may, they're not a client. A client is, someone you've been working with. Hey, they're definitely a client. You've been working with them for a little bit, and they say, hey, look, just refer me out to somebody else. Well, a lead is somebody who's coming off the street. Hey, I know they have insurance, but they're still looking around. They're trying to find out, hey, do I want to go with this person? They're shopping around for different therapists. They're shopping around for different mental health providers, for therapy and maybe med management. And so when they're shopping around, when they're looking at things, that's a lead. It's not a guaranteed client yet. And so what we're trying to do is, be that market, create that marketplace and be that bridge between getting those leads in and then getting those clients. What's happening and why we're able to do this is because of the inefficiencies in mental health, right? Or it's annoying, right? So Blue Cross Blue Shield, it takes about 6 months when I hire a new therapist, right? So if I hire you right now, you can't see Blue Cross Blue Shield clients within 6 months. It's one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard, right? And so when you call around, when you're calling around and you have these insurances, there's a lag time. And hospitals, they have contracts or they have agreements with these insurance companies to at least do 90 days. But within that 90 days, I don't know what they actually are doing within those 90 days. Like, so you go, you work for the hospital, and then what, you're just not doing anything for 90 days? I I don't really I haven't figured out how they made that work, but essentially there's a lag time between when you first sign up with the insurance companies to when you get credentialed with them or they call it empanelment, right? Every insurance has various lag times. What happens is what's the frustration a lot of people is when they call folks, it's very, very hard to find a therapist that takes your insurance because as I mentioned, a lot of therapists, they don't like insurance, and the people that do take insurance, their schedules get full pretty quickly, and they'll often say, oh, I'm not taking new clients, this, that, and the third. And so what we're gonna do, hey, eventually, are we gonna branch off to others? Yeah, but let me focus on my niche, right? Let me focus on my niche. Let me focus on what I've been doing. And to be honest with you, man, I've been like, I was telling my staff today, right now, oh man, it's like I'm in a state of euphoria right now. I call it my manic stage. If it mental health, for bipolar, it's the spectrum between the manic and depressive moods, right? A manic is when you have all the energy, you're up, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're doing this, like you're doing everything, you're running around crazy and all those things. And then the depressive stage is when you just don't feel like doing anything. Everything is like going to the store is a bother. Like getting out of bed, you're dreading it, And I found myself in a depressive stage at the end of December, um, for various, for a couple of various reasons. Because I was like, hey, I need to leave, right? I need to leave, but that's a lot of money to put on the table, And then you talk to, my wife was encouraging, she was supportive, but she's also realistic and say, "Man, it's a lot of money here, are you gonna be able to make that up?" And so that's the goal. And to make matters hard, I'm actually not doing therapy like I should be doing. So I'm seeing a little clients here and there, but at least like for the first month, let me give myself a runway for a month or two to see if I can do it, right? To see how I can make it happen. So we tried these marketing services in the past and we failed, right? We have failed drastically because the hardest thing about starting any new venture is how do you market yourself? How do you get these services out? Right. And so that's why for me personally, I'm actually just focusing on the therapist, right? Because I know where to get the therapist. It's like fishing, right? If you're going to fishing and somebody says, "Hey, if I give you these coordinates, there's so many fishes out here. All you got to do is put in your bait." I'm like, "Oh, half the work is done." So I know where to get the therapist from. It's on Psychology Today. So now we're just going to be doing cold calling, right? Um, Cold calling. You're reaching out to 200 to 300 therapists a day, like one person, and I'm actually going to be getting a team. I'm actually going to be getting a team of cold callers. Nobody on my team likes cold calling. Like, and when I say that, you can just see them. Oh, this guy again. Just give it a break, Frank. Give it up. It's not gonna work. You're not gonna, like nobody wants to sit there and hear no. 200, 150 times in a day. Nobody wants to hear that. So, what I did was one of my specialties is staff recruitment. We're really, really good at using virtual assistants to get staff recruitment. And I use virtual assistants from outside the US for certain things. In the US, I have about like three like full-time virtual assistants where I pay them a good salary, healthcare benefits, and all of that. One of them was the marketing director that I talked about earlier. But I use some other things I use outside of it because it's just more cost effective. And they they're able to do the things that nobody really wants to do, right? Unfortunately that's what it is, but they love to do it. And because of the exchange rate, you're actually pay you I was talking to one today. It was like, yeah, what I'll be paying her, you actually are, paying her a lot more than what she's making in her local town, and so we're actually supporting the local economies as well, right? And so I'm excited for you all to go on this journey. We're going to be starting a vlog, a blog, and I guess a vlog as well on our journey on starting this company within Latte Wellness Group, right? So we're still running Latte Wellness Group. We have 4 more therapists. One of our goals is to hire 5 new therapists a month, right? And so Latte Wellness Group is still, we have 50 people in Latte Wellness Group now. Like I said, it's just tremendous. Just thank God for where where he brought me to where we are now. And so this is my new venture. It might, I may fall flat on my face. You know, it's going to be tough because marketing is tough, right? The hardest thing about it is how do you gain traction? And so one of the things that we did is our bait, right? So we're going to be reaching out to these folks and we say, hey, look, let us get you one free client or one free lead, right? And then I just want your email. because I've been doing some research and they're saying that email marketing, or if you do like content creation marketing, it's the best form because it's the most it takes a while to take off, but it's the most cost efficient. Because when you run ads on Facebook, Google, you name it, it gets expensive really, really quickly. Like it's thousands of dollars a week. I know this one like lawyer, she spends like $15,000 a month on her ads. Like it is, but I mean, she makes it back. I mean, she's making good money from it, but you have to have a really, really healthy budget. And so um it was a challenge that I want to do, right? It's a challenge. I'm excited. I felt when I was thinking about that contract, it the time was up. I realized about me, I love projects that I can go in and get out, or I love things that it's my own, right? It's very hard to like do things, build somebody else's dream. No offense to anybody, because but like build things on your own, or even for me, like with the contractors that I have, you supporting their businesses. A lot of the VAs too, like they're like we're supporting them because like they're trying to make a living, not from the company but from like direct, from direct clients and stuff. And so it's going to be really, really exciting. While I'm in the manic, hey, maybe February, the honeymoon's going to be over. But while I'm in the manic stage, like last night, man, we were working. I'm actually putting more hours in now when I'm not getting paid than I was, on my other thing, because that was a straight, 8 hours a day. They're paying you. I mean, it was smooth. But the amount of effort, the amount of money, sorry, not money, but the amount of work. Like last night, working till like 11:30. I was doing interviews. I interviewed like two people at like 11 o'clock at night. Today I woke up at like 6:45 to do another interview, because these folks are overseas, so the time zone differences, especially in the beginning, until you really, really establish the operations and say, hey, look, moving forward, we're going to be working on Eastern time, not your time, and making sure, and then just setting the metrics. So we're doing a lot of planning. And I was in the middle of writing my book on, how to start a private practice and all that. And it was going well. But then I may switch, I right now I got to focus on this, right? I got to focus on this to get this up and running off the ground. Because it's the next baby, and just to see, because once you get the reason why I like the marketing, because it's it's transferable to a lot of things, right? The skills that you learn here, God willing, you can transfer it to, you can do marketing for lawyers, you can do marketing for X, Y, and Z, you can do whatever it is, but initially it's making that content, right? And so, right now I'm still on cloud nine, loving it. I'll probably be up later on today. I got like have like 30 resumes to review. Schedule it, trying to weed out, the folks that are not good. And so, we'll probably do more content on that as well. Like, okay, hey, what were the websites? The websites I use is Upwork.com and Hubstaff. Hubstaff, you can post for free. Upwork, you can post for free as well. But Upwork, if you hire them, they want you to use their Upwork platform, which is not bad, but it's just terrible for like the worker, because Upwork takes a percentage of their money, and I'd rather just give them that whole percentage, right? But it's very illegal. Like I try to just I try to follow, just follow those rules, because I got flagged, when I didn't realize, you can take it off of Upwork. But hey, we keep it on there. And maybe, I'm excited to go on this journey with you all, to, explore the journey, to go on there, to really, invite you along to see, hey, how long does this manic stage last, right? And then is the depressive stage, right around the corner, right? But I would say, like, again, just thank you to John Hopkins and the Killer Group team for just been supportive, right? I swear these guys were like Navy SEALs back in the day or so. I mean, they the what I learned from there was how to treat your people, right? Make sure that you treat your people well, and you don't always have to rule with an iron fist. You can show people grace, you can show people mercy, you can actually be human. It's okay as a manager to be human, to empathize with your staff, to like, ask about them, to treat them as humans as well. And he actually let me the guy that I brought on like a US based worker to help me with the task, and he let me, he let that worker stay on the contract for a couple of hours, not the whole 40, but a couple of hours here and there, so people don't have to lose their job. So it's a great time right now. It's really, really exciting. I'm excited. I hope you're excited as well. And thank you, and God bless.